All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them, says Walt Disney. With this motivational quote, I would like to begin today's session. Good morning, everyone. I'm Professor Gayatri Endra from Bachelor of Business Administration Department, Keli Society's Degree College, Nagarbhavi, Bengaluru. The Karnataka Lingayat Education Society began in a humble way with the establishment of a single institution in the educationally backward North Karnataka region in 1916, with its first institution in Belagavi by 3 great selfless visionary founder members and 7 founder life members. Now, Keli Society occupies a very special place in the field of education in the Indian subcontinent, with over 16,000 employees working in over 250 institutions spread across Karnataka, Maharashtra, and Goa, catering to the needs of more than 125,000 students. And in the process, it has become a key player whose commendable contribution to healthcare and education has gained global recognition. Now I would like to introduce about BBA department, Bachelor of Business Administration department at Keli Society's Degree College, Nagarbhavi, is renowned for its activity-based education techniques, which excites the students to learn more apart from the classroom. Our BBA is designed towards experiential learning, which helps in qualitative and quantitative development of students, and our goal has always been very student-centric. And our approaches are directly proportional to students' growth professionally and personally. Now, I would like to introduce our resource person for today. For today's webinar, we have with us Dr. Purnima Devi SK as resource person. Madam was born and brought up in Srirangapatna. She got married at an early age when she was about 19 years and then pursued her education from PU till PhD in psychology. She is an empowered woman herself. Madam has 42 years of experience in teaching, counseling, and research in psychology, and she has association with several colleges and hospitals. She is a faculty coordinator and consultant at IGNOU for MSCCFT and PGDCFT programs. She is a receiver of Mother Teresa, Sri Swami Vivekananda, and Sri Rajarajeshwari Awards for her excellence in the field of psychology and research. We are very honored to have you today for the session, madam, and we wholeheartedly welcome you to today's session. And I also welcome all our dear participants for today's session. Let's begin for the day. Purnima madam, over to you. You can unmute yourself and go ahead for the session.
Good morning to all of you. Let me acknowledge the efforts made by Keli institutions, and I will also thank personally Dr. Kishen Patil, who initiated this move, and the rest of the coordination was done by Mrs. Gayatri, who day in and out contacted me and collected some information, and then today she has done her job very well. Good job. And for us, this is a sort of a new engagement in webinars. I have attended almost 50-60 webinars of Indira Gandhi National Open University Regional Center, Bangalore, and I have just presented 3 times there. And The topic that was given to me initially by Gayatri was management and psychology, how they are interrelated. And later on, there was a new idea stating that why not we touch upon the starting of a business post-pandemic situation. So everyone knows about the pandemic, and also they have experienced for the last 5 months what they did not learn in 5 years or 50 years, they have learned in 5 months how to get in touch with the new technology and how to use the gadgets and how to communicate in non-person situation. We are seeing photos, we are seeing the environment through this camera, and being teachers for more than 4 decades, we were just in touch with human individuals in a classroom or in a meeting, assembly, conference, seminar, workshop, and all that. But this is a new situation for us where we have to talk to ourselves, and we are sure that there are some listeners. Very strange, but we have adjusted, we have adapted ourselves. And this kind of adjustment or adapting to our new environment, from switching over from existing environment to the new one, could be called intelligence. Flexibility of adjustment is intelligence. So each and every one of us are intelligent enough to adapt to the new situation. And Madam introduced me, and I have been in conventional education for the last 40 plus years. Even today, I continue to be a faculty and teach in a conventional college or hospital. But from 1988 onwards, being the first batch student of Indira Gandhi National Open University, which was established by an Act of Parliament in 1985, and later the first course, the program that was initiated was Diploma in Distance Education. I became one of the first participants in that program, and immediately after completing, I was appointed as an academic counselor for Indira Gandhi National Open University. By that time, I already had 8 to 9 years of experience at Maharani Science College, where I was heading the Department of Psychology. In the meantime, my professors also made me work in the university along with these 2 assignments with the permission of Director of Collegiate Education. So I switched over from one point to the other. Whatever I had learned, the way of teaching, I had to unlearn it and relearn in distance education. But now what is happening is, even that combination, I have to unlearn what I learned earlier, and now new learning has occurred through these information technology processes. So thank you very much for the opportunity given. And being a student of psychology, I also studied industrial psychology and organizational behavior. When Gayatri Madam asked me to speak on the starting of a business, I went through some of my old books and also new, little browsing I did, and I found that this is a very, very relevant and much needed subject for discussion. And I think I'll speak for a while, and then I'll leave the assembly. Leave it to the assembly to interact with me, so that we can have a participatory discussion. Now, this starting of a business in post-pandemic situation is a very crucial step by those who have already been into the business and those who have come out of business now due to this COVID situation, and those who have plans and dreams and their own ventures in entrepreneurship. So the 3 kinds of people are coexisting now. I think recession, global recession, especially economic recession, has been a fact all over the globe through and through. That is for centuries together. And whenever they faced such situations, they had a solution. There was a question, all of you know that how can you resolve this recession? Say it in only 5 words. That was $1 million, million pound question in USA and UK. At that point of time, one philosopher who didn't need any money for himself just got the answer while he was sitting in his armchair. And he said that it is, you can have these 5 words. This too shall pass away. This too shall pass away. Like whatever situations we have faced so far, we have gone, and this will also go away. So when you say post-pandemic, then you're already ready for the assumption and the way you can handle this uncertainty, that a certainty will set in, but it may not be the same. Like as people say that from normal to new normal. So we are all in that situation. The need to readjust to the new horizon is very inevitable now. Adjustment is a concomitant of your own behavioral expectations and changes. Now you have asked me to relate it to psychology. Organizational behavior and psychology are very much akin. And I have given Gayatri a list of startups which are in the news, and also what possibilities we have and how to get into this, which will be displayed at the end of the session. Now, once you say psychology, a psychological perspective, all the elements of psychology have been incorporated in organizational behavior. The very word that we use, behavior, refers to the definition change that occurred over a period of time. Earlier, psychology was said to be the study of soul, and then mind, and then conscience. Because scientists started questioning it, it was later defined as the study of scientific behavior. And this behavior could be in terms of the thoughts, feelings, and actions, which we call CAP, cognitive, affective, and psychomotor behaviors. And then you have this kind of stimulus, organism, and response connections, chains. And then we are going to study both human beings and animals in psychology. But here in organizational behavior, we're going to take up the behavioral aspects of the organization as well the individuals involved in it. And both conscious and unconscious features, and the whole perspective of psychology we related to organizations or starting up of a business, it revolves around all the concepts of psychology. The behavior includes your sensations, your perceptions, your intelligence, your aptitudes, your attitude, your thinking, your learning, your memory, your forgetting, and your emotions, your motivations, and the personality as a whole, which is an interactive product or the resultant product of both heredity and environment, and how it molds you into an unique person. The characteristics that you have are unique. Each and every person is unique, and we know that how one excels or one fails because of his own aspects of the concepts that I just mentioned. Maybe the perception, maybe the attitude, maybe not utilizing his aptitude, not working towards the maximum utilization of his potentialities, or having an inferiority complex or lack of confidence in himself might lead him to become a failure, or if he has this kind of self-actualized more self-actualized perception of oneself, then he cannot be made to become a failure. At any point of life in his career or business, he's supposed to win. He is a person who will not quit. He's not a quitter, but he's a winner. All these details you have been exposed to in your own lives. Now, the moment I speak on motivation, I remember my dad used to tell from the time maybe when I was 2 years, 3 years kid also, they used to say, you must have 8 friends in life. Who are those? Something like 7 wives and 1 husband, or 7 windows and 1 house. So the contents of those friends or the name of those friends are very well designed in each and everyone's life in terms of who am I? What do I want in life? How am I going to achieve? Do I want to become a businessman? Do I want to become a teacher? Do I want to become a software individual or a lawyer or a doctor? Everything has a feedback from his own personality. So the 8 friends which I mentioned are what, when, why, which, where, and who and whom. And the 8th friend is how. So when you start a business in this post-pandemic situation, we ought to question ourselves whether I'm doing this business or I want to start my business for my own living or for my family's welfare, or is it for some kind of a goal that I have, whether I have the ambition to fulfill and achieve the same, my aspirations and my achievements, my ambitions and my dreams, they are all connected to what exactly you want to do. So why do we do what we do is a simple definition of motivation. Why do we do what we do? Why do we do what we do? But the technical definition of motivation could be a task-directed behavior or a goal-oriented behavior. So we all have goals, maybe long-term, short-term, and then immediate goals, specific goals, and then maybe sometimes you may have a goal of serving the society, or you may have a goal of helping your community. And the present topic involves starting a business could be a goal. So how are you going to achieve that goal? By what means? So you have to plan it properly. Plan and then pool the resources, and also think twice before starting whether I can move on till the end or till I reach my goal. So the general population, if you take the general population, all are not interested in business. And one more thing I want to mention is life is a business. Our business is life. So only when you have these two things compartmentalized, then you will have a happy life. Otherwise, your business will take away your entire energy, and you may have a very small chunk of time for your family. Or if you are a person who is a family-oriented person and not for just time pass, if you take up a business, then you may not do justice to the business. So you have to plan it properly, very careful in also. A lot of risks are involved, sometimes high-level risks, sometimes middle-level risks, as we have in mutual funds and shares, small risks also. But the kind of person you are will speak a lot about you, whether you are going to survive in this competitive world where the kind of speed with which the world is, the globe is, blooming. We have to match ourselves with that speed. If not, then we have to we have to start a business which suits our immediate needs. And I think being business administration college or about the department which Madam explained, and the kind of clientele that you have, the kind of student populace that you have, has exposed all the students to different kinds of experiences. While studying itself, they might have got into some kind of business, that is, earn while you learn. Or with the background of family background, you might have started a business. And how are you going to succeed? That's the question now. And are you really oriented properly to start a business? And are you going to take a lot of risk? Or are you hopeful that this pandemic will end soon? Or should you prepare yourself to work along with this pandemic and succeed? So the question is that the kind of happenings around us, the media information that we are getting makes us feel a little depressed. And people initially became very anxious, stressed, and then they got frustrated also. But now, slowly, they are coming out of it and thinking on thinking on the lines of these ventures, starting businesses. So you have to expose yourself to the ongoings in the business world, and you have to start new groups where you can get fund of information. And then you need to also check with the financial conditions where you can invest your time, energy, and money, or you need some funding agencies which can help you out in this critical period. That way, we can plan our business. And I think starting from a petty business shop to that of a multinational organization or a multinational company, they have all toiled like anything, day in and day out, to establish themselves. So you will have to face the same cycle. So depends on your needs and how you are driven, and how your drives or needs are satisfied, and then that's the point where you reach your goal. And if the direction is not proper, the driven direction is not positive, then you will end up with failure, and you may become very depressed that you started and whatever you do is not going to click. This kind of a depressed attitude may set in, and we have seen many big businessmen ending there. About Siddharth, who committed suicide, they say, and many businessmen. Recent example is that, and we have seen that about 28% of those who started up businesses in the last 10 decades did not reach their goals, and they ended up in depression or suicidal thoughts or committed suicide. So you have to have a very mentor group, or a group which gives you a lot of moral support, and you have to develop your own strategies to complete your to reach your goals. So this too shall pass away should be our attitude. And then we have to adjust ourselves to the new normal, which we are going to experience in post-pandemic. And then if you want to adjust to your life situation, then you have to have different kinds of IQs. One is general intelligence, which I said earlier, that is flexibility of adjustment. You have to adjust to yourself and to others. And psychology always speaks of understanding oneself and understanding others. And in organizational behavior, you should be able to not only understand, but also predict, and whether you are going to succeed or will end up as a failure. So after giving a serious thought about all these, you can make up your mind to become one such entrepreneur. The first one I said about is your general intelligence. That's not enough. You should also have a very well balanced mood cycle or feelings where you can express your emotional intelligence there. And then you are going to work with other people. Right now, the percentage of human resources and the percentage of these gadgets, is getting reversed. So whatever it is, you have to have enough social intelligence because you're going to deal with your others in the society or in your immediate organizational circle. Then you have to have this applicational quotient. That is to say that whatever theoretical knowledge you have acquired, you have to apply it in your life, in your business. If that application quotient is less than your general intelligence, then you have to check with yourself and try to acquire that at the earliest so that you succeed in your business. And you have the other one, the personality could be a handful with 5 fingers, this emotions, your personal adjustments and your social adjustments, your emotional adjustments, and your spiritual personality as such. So you should be able to take it easy or avoid getting depressed. If you have this kind of spiritual orientation, you'll be able to make it up at any cost. Then you have the other factors in your personality in terms of whether what kind of a person you are. Are you an internal or an external? In the sense, are you an introvert or an extrovert, or a balanced person between two? So this kind of pandemic has resulted in pouring a lot of water to the enthusiasm of extroverts. They are so outgoing and they want to do 10 things at a time. And introverts are safe, and I think they are the ones who are enjoying this kind of COVID situation, lockdown and such things, so that they are reaching their goals of reading, writing, or introspection, or whatever it is. And their reflection will result in some kind of ventures in terms of academic achievements. So this way, I think many of us have thought of business, but we might have not achieved it, or we might have aspired, but we might have not achieved. We might have been very ambitious, very dreaming of, as Gayatri started with her with a note on dreams. I also remember our Abdul Kalam ji, who used to say, dream, dream, dream big, dream high, like that. So everyone has their own cycle of dreams, some of which they have achieved and some of which they are yet to. So just reformulate what you have dreamt and then start with that goal, and then look into your situation where whether you can start right away, or you need to wait for a couple of months or a couple of weeks to start. And then your preparedness is very essential. You should be prepared to face the challenges, because we know that a lot of risks are involved in any business venture, and you need to get into that. Then you have this what kind of position can you attain during and after the pandemic, and what are your plans for bouncing back? And then some of these details I collected for your sake. And how will your culture and identity change? And then what new projects do you need to launch, run, and coordinate? And then how prepared are you to execute your plan and projects? That way, I think these are fund of information is available in your browser, and you can collect all those and then see whether you can make your mark in your life. And I wanted to tell you that I do not know whether all of you know Kannada or not, but this Kagga, Mankutimana Kagga, by DVG says, Jagada Vyapara Moovarottu Vichara. The business of life is where three people are involved. Bhavi Pode, if you think who it is, Bhavi Pode, Neenu, Jaga, Mattonda Adrushta, Avagam, Muraneya Bhagastaniche Bala. That means luck has its own role to play. I think you all know when you started a business that your prayers went up and blessings came down. That is to say, the luck factor always operates, and how you deal with others will also count, and how you are dealing with yourself, like your own moods, your own thoughts, your own feelings, and your situations, financial or social or domestic or family related, whatever it is, how you are going to deal with yourself. That will let us know how best we can operate in this situation. And I think this session, I told Dr. Gayatri that we should have some kind of interaction in this session, so that we will get new questions, and maybe we'll go in search of new answers also in this post-pandemic situation when you start a business. I think all your business administration students may not become businessmen. And all those who have not had a glimpse of business may start venturing new businesses. So both of them have to be prepared in the same way as any novice would do. And I think the situations do require your perception, your sensation, your perception, I said. Like you have to learn a lot. This learning could be in terms of the classical conditioning or operant conditioning theories and experiments. And we usually learn through imitation, through trial and error, and through classical conditioning or operant conditioning, and then we learn through insight. And this is very important. You have to be intuitive in order to get the whole picture of your dreams or your starting of a business or your goals. And you have to divide them into immediate goals, short-term goals, and long-term goals, where you will be able to assess your own stage of success. Or if there is any failure, you can get back to point one, and afresh you can start and learn from others also. That is, you can imitate, in the sense whatever is the stage of imitation.
Hello, madam. Madam, please unmute yourself. You're not audible.
Hello, madam?
Hello. Yes, madam. Now you're audible. You can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So, your own personality counts a lot. Like whether it's a counselor's position or a therapist or a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a businessman or a student or a teacher or a lawyer or a software person, your personality counts a lot. All the characteristics that have made you a unique person, and that you didn't get just offhand. It's a resultant of effect of your heredity and environment. You can change the environment anytime you want, but you can't change the heredity. And that is where you are very unique person with a certain defined characteristics or traits or qualities in your own personality. So what kind of a person? You assess yourself, judge yourself, and then allow yourself to be judged by others. whether you fit into a businessman's role or not, whether you can start a business and succeed. You can get the assessment done by your own circle of friends, circle of family, circle of colleagues, or circle of, like even strangers can assess you. Like there are many aptitude tests. Aptitude tests are nothing but your special abilities, innate potentialities, innate abilities. You may have an aptitude for music, but you may end up as a bank clerk. And you may have an aptitude for a great businessman, but you may be forced to work as a teacher or a nurse or something of that sort, which will not allow you to actualize your potentialities. That is to say, maximize your strengths and minimize your weaknesses. That process is a whole process. If you have studied Abraham Maslow's self-actualization hierarchy, you will come to know how we switch over from physical needs to that of physical needs to that of your survival needs, and then security needs. We are all insecure now. Those safety and security have become our priority now, and we have to cross that border and then get into your social needs, and from there on to your self needs, that is your ego needs. I need you should get established by that time, and from there on you have to respect yourself. You have to have a self-respect, and you have to be sure of what you are, where self-esteem comes into picture. This esteem, self-esteem, has been one of the most tested quality in you in various organizations. How high esteem people behave, and how people with low esteem, fail in their ventures. And from there on, and how to induce or how to motivate them to gain better self-confidence and then become high esteemed individuals. From there on, you have this self-actualization as the utmost level, and for which you need moments of isolation. Isolation, the silence, the meditation, the reflection, the introspection, all these are very much essential to become a self-actualized person. And great winners in business field, in multinational companies and also all over the globe, have been self-actualized people. When I read their history, biodata, and also the way they have traveled in the field of business, I have seen them. I've studied their biographies, and we find that they're all self-actualized person. It could be a petty businessman also. He finds happiness in himself by achieving what he could in life. And I also, one point that I would mention is about happiness. People who are happy cannot be made unhappy. People who tend to be unhappy can also not be made happy. So they have to mend themselves if they want to succeed in life or in business. And I think the stalwarts in business have proved themselves how they have traveled in their professional life. One person I know, a neighbor of ours, he built a 1 crore house next to our house, and he went to the business trainers with one lunch will do for me. Then after a year, he requested for 1 breakfast and 1 lunch, and third year he sought for 1 breakfast, 1 lunch, and 1 dinner without expecting any money. So then next year, 4th year, then he requested to give a part-time job to his wife. Then they learned the whole technique of running a business. It was a government business in NG Road, and they learned the technique and tricks. And what they wanted was only a place to live, which they had in quarters, and sufficient food for their life. And after that, he started his business and own business where his wife was his partner, and they succeeded like anything, that they went all over the world. But after building the house, before doing housewarming ceremony, he had been in Dubai, and we had to see his body brought back to Bangalore next door. Because his life became a business. Business became his life. So we need not go to those extremes. If you have your sense of contentment and happiness and self-satisfaction and excelling in your own field, then I think that will give you time to live long and also live well. We know that story of no man's land. We know that, and we have a message from those stories and anecdotes where we can learn a lot. And I think I usually start with a shloka, because my gurus, my parents, my teachers, my gurus all over, they did say that, and now my students also want me to start always with a shloka. And I'm an obedient student of all these people. And then I thought I will start with Gayatri's name. Brahma Vishnu Maheshwara Janata Aviveka Pranavakshara me Tinom Eka. So we always say this Om Gayatri Pranavakshar, and that is the beginning and the end of our existence. And I think I did not relate it exactly to the two fields, the business and psychology, but organizational behavior has all that we study in psychology, and they have this application quotient there. That is to say, the theoretical knowledge has been applied very well in an organizational setup. Whether it is a small one or a big one or a multinational company, the principles are the same. The psychological perspectives that are very coherent in organizational behavior. And I think I have just given some input for you to think and respond or react or reflect. And you can ask me certain questions based on your needs and also your interactions with in the business field. And I'll end my presentation with Yadrochate tadgrahyam, yannarochate tatyajyam, sukhenaiva bhoktavyam. Whatever I have said, whatever pleases you, you can incorporate. Whatever doesn't suit you, you can leave it. But enjoy your business venture. And I think I'll also conclude with one message, which the national poet Kuvempu said. The present generation and also all of us in this COVID situation, we neither have a goal in front of us nor a teacher behind us. Munde guri illa, hinde guru illa. That's what he went on repeating. And those who have a goal, they will definitely get a guru. They will go in search of the right person to help him to understand life and to understand his goals and understand his dreams. So I request you, Gayatri, to request the participants to post me any thoughts of theirs. And I thank you. This is my vote of thanks to the organization and the coordinators and the principal of the institution and this young lady who took me to this point of being with you today. Hello,
Thank
madam.
you. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. I want them to, any clarification they want.
Sure, madam. So, dear participants,
One minute. Can you display that those which I have sent?
yes, ma'am, the startup ideas.
Right. Startup ideas.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. Or you can pinpoint on organizational behavior also, if
Okay,
whatever
ma'am.
you are ready with. They are all interrelated. Because I couldn't share with in my laptop. Is the audience inclusive of students, madam?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Um,
Can't get it?
just a minute.
No problem.
Ma'am, is it visible?
No, not visible. To me, it's not visible. You can run it. Okay, now visible. Visible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a minute.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Run through one by one.
So this is the PPT that was prepared by Madam, and these are some of the business opportunities post-COVID. Madam, will you just explain, or shall I just run through with the?
Run through. That will do. Run through. Just an exposure to them. That's all. It's already there in all the. Okay.
Participants, you can go through with the slides that has been displayed. These are some of the opportunities post-COVID. And there are also certain ways specified, like you can follow those, and you can follow those if you're planning to set up a business after COVID.
Slides have to run. I think I have a question from Ajay Ghosh also, on organizational behavior.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, shall I attend to that?
Yes, ma'am. Sure, sure.
Okay. Hello, sir. May I know what background you have, sir? Like in business or in profession? Which profession, sir? Ajay, sir? Ajay Ghosh, sir? Just look at the chat box and if you can find.
Yes, ma'am. I'm just looking at it.
Right.
Ajay Ghosh.
Yeah.
Others
I
can
just saw one message.
Other participants, you
Something on slides are not showing properly, it seems. There's a chat.
Did you want me to display it again?
No, what you did was only the beginning. They were not displayed. Only the first slide, where I welcome, that was displayed. I think you have to run it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I will just do it.
Okay. I will just touch upon what Ajay Ghosh sir asked. Okay.
Okay.
So organizational behavior refers to, like it is defined in all the classic books of organizational behavior, that it is the understanding, prediction, and management of human behavior. And it could be individually taken up or in terms of the groups in the organization and also social interactions. So the two important aspects there are the internal and external perspectives. The internal perspective and the external one. And you are going to study the nature of people, how people behave. And for that, in counseling and therapy, there are various studies and also surveys done how to study the nature of people. And you can take the help of such literature in order to go through and see how the personality of people around us affect us or help us, or how people are different in terms of extrovertive, introvertive, and neutral, or those who stick on to their own world. So the perception also is very important in organizational behavior, and the holistic perception, like we call it Gestalt psychology, not the parts getting into whole, but it's something more than that. And the CAP is very important here. The CAP is nothing but cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. That is the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you actions. They are part and parcel of every human being, and how you are going to perceive that. And then whether you have the motivated behavior in your business ventures, whether you have positive motivation or negative motivation. So the positive people usually do succeed, and people with negative motivation will give up easily, succumb to the circumstances rather than exercising their willpower. And then the reinforcement in your learning is also important. Prior to that, the values of a person are very important. Like you are dealing with others, and whether you're capable of appreciating the skills and the capacities or capabilities of the other person who is contributing to the organization or business, and whether you have that kind of a generosity in your behavior depends on your values. Suppose you are a person who always criticizes or comments on the other person, who compares him to the other people, then they are your negative qualities which are not value oriented. But instead, if you can just compliment a person, if you can cheer up a person, if you can motivate a person, then that's a positive value of yours. And it also depends on the nature of organization, whether that organization has people, more people or less people, or it's a one-man show. It depends on that. And then whether you are ready to make and meet and communicate with informal groups and formal groups or mentor groups. And then you have to practice improvising your behavior every day, and you know that practice makes a man perfect. And you have this capacity to formulate an interest, and you have to have your own ethics, especially professional ethics, when you venture something like that. And then we have talked about learning, importance of learning in this business world, and how reinforcement could be used in your learning apart from cognitive learning. And your personality counts a lot. And there was a meeting, there was a workshop in America where 60 to 70 countries had participated, and they gave a test of 100 items. And they said, what do you want in life? Whether you want a good job, good wife, good husband, good child, or good car, or good other good things. Almost 99 items were given. And one more item was added. That was communication, good communication. So almost all Americans, in another 300 to 350 years, they could prosper to this extent and become a developed country. And they were the ones who said 100% they voted for communication, good communication. If you have good communication, you can have all other 99 items in your hand. So that was the way communication had its own role to play. Sir, I need to re-understand your question, sir. You just wanted something on organizational behavior, I heard. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Yeah, I didn't get.
Others can also post your questions. If
Yeah, I can see that here. So that was the only question I saw.
okay, and there is a question from one of my colleague, madam. What is
Yes.
the role of emotions in one success or failure? Emotion, sorry. What is the role of emotions in one success or failure?
Definitely. See, he may have a fund of knowledge. He may be very intelligent, first rank holder, gold medalist. But if he's not capable of controlling his emotions or reacting in a socially accepted way, then he will definitely incur a lot of disgruntlement, and he may become diffident also, that he may start having the inferior feelings, that he is not liked by people, or he is not born to be with people in social interactions or something of that sort. Emotions do play a major role, which I call in emotional quotient. There are various tests, and before becoming a businessman, they can subject themselves to these kinds of testing tools that we have in psychological establishments, where they can test themselves. Am I a person who has this aptitude test, who has an aptitude for business, who has emotional control in business situations? And we know that the defense mechanisms were very helpful in controlling yourself or in surpassing various emotional difficulties. For example, displacement is a defense mechanism. In the office or in the business setup, you may be a very calm, cool person, and you may not react to the negative reactions of your boss. But you get back home, you will throw your emotional frustrations or disappointments or lack of confidence on your family members. There is a scope for you to improvise yourself or repair your relationships, which you cannot do in a business field or with others in the business. So emotional intelligence is very important, and it can be acquired also. If you have not, if you don't have that kind of a quality in your personality to adjust to the environment, not to react but to respond, that is taking time to respond. And how you can manage your anger, how you can manage your anxiety, how you can manage your stress. These are all management areas which are related to organizational behavior as well as psychology.
Thank you.
One clue is that there are two things: immediate impulsive reaction to the comments or to the negative reactions by the other person. Take a pause, take time to respond, and then you can say that maybe I'll get back to you, sir, in a couple of minutes. That way you can control that situation of either anger or stress or emotional eruption. Yes, madam.
Okay, madam. Thank you. I hope the question was answered. Dear participants, if you have any other questions to ask, please do leave a message in the chat box. Madam will answer. Please do leave.
You couldn't get the slides, madam?
Yes, yes, madam. I can display it now.
Okay.
Shall I display it?
Okay, madam. Just for their information, which they already know, but it is relevant to my talk today. That's why I thought that I will request. Yeah, it's visible.
Yes. I hope everyone can see the slide now. I will.
Okay, you can read also, madam.
Yes.
If you want. Business in.
Business.
In post-pandemic, that you read, madam. 2 points are given.
Post-pandemic situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
First point is to understand your current financial position. The second point is to identify needs and viable business opportunities. The third point is meet those needs and take advantage of the opportunities. Free webinars, attend free webinars or search in online portals. The main thing is to build your own network. Eight things to.
Yes.
Yes, I'm unable to read the heading as the display is covered.
Okay.
Yeah. At the time of coronavirus, the 8 things to do is 1, offer free products and services.
Repeat it, madam. The 8 ideas. Please repeat it, madam.
Yes, 8 ideas
during startups.
For startups during the time of coronavirus is offer free products and services just to make the people know about yourself and work on innovative tech solutions to fight the coronavirus. Connect with the startup community in the country. Organize or attend hackathons, even if remote.
And fifth one.
Fifth one, I'm unable to read as the display is covered.
Yes. How free online webinars, podcasts or question and answer sessions. Host it. You can host it.
Mentor earlier stage teams in acceleration or growth programs.
Yes.
Offer your advice on remote working. Offer consultations to SMEs on digitalization and automation.
Yes.
And this is the end of the slide. I hope everyone have got an idea at least how to build the connectivity or how to prepare yourself for the pandemic, for the post-pandemic situation through this slide. It was just an information that Madam had given me to display for you all during the session.
One more, Mr. Anil. One sir, Anil sir, has posted, I couldn't read it. Maybe it's in chat box.
How to develop, Ajay Shukla, Dr. Ajay Shukla has posted that how to develop our thought process in terms of behavioral level.
Thought process in behavior level. Behavior level. How to develop. So just check yourself, sir, the kind of person you have become so far. Is not a one-man show there. A lot of contributions by your family, your parents, your teachers from primary school, kindergarten level to that of PhD level. You have a lot of teachers, and then they are formal teachers. But you have many who are informal teachers, like starting from your neighbors or colleagues or your relatives or from various media. You have become what you are, and then you know that your behavior has come to this point or this level, and whether it is suitable for your business ventures or in any profession you may be, but whether they are suitable and they are contributing, and whether you are becoming a very constructive person. You can do that with the help of World Health Organization life skills. You can attend a course if you really want to do so, or you can imbibe those skills within yourself. There are 10 skills, including empathy, and then creative and constructive learning, or being creative, and then a whole list is there, and you could help yourself. You need not even hello.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
You need not get into any kind of confusion. Be clear, and only when we are emotional or when we are not clear, there's no clarity, then we are confused. So we can easily come out of confusion. How many times you have handled your own family, domestic, and like professional situations, by handling them very effectively and efficiently. And this one statement, effective and efficient management of self and the group or the management or organization will make you become, whether you are a person with minimum resources, you can become very, very helpful to others. Like we say that efficient and effective person is a person who gets the maximum with the minimum, maximum results with the minimum resources. So in your behavior, behavior includes your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions or moods or feelings or actions. And then you have this kind of stimulus, organism, and response chain. Umpteen number of such SOR connections you can see in your behavior. And once you know that, the way you have reacted or the way you have handled is not okay in a particular situation, then you are always, you should be oriented, or you are always open to rectify it, correct it, and see whether the new thing works or what. Behavior, totality of a person, your behavior decides. That is why from childhood we learn, behave yourself, a board, right? Behavior refers to all these things: how you conduct yourself, how you react to others, or how you perceive yourself, and how best you can contribute to the family, to the society, and to the community, and to the nation as such. So that decides what kind of a person you will be. So this is a constant process: self-development, self-analysis, and self-improvement.
Oh, thank you, madam. There is one last question. We'll take up this question and the session. So there are a lot of professors here. I think this question would help them to understand in a better way. Now, what is the psychology of graduate level students and how to understand it? This is the question, madam.
Yes, I think I was about to present a paper on this to BES college. Like in this COVID situation, when campus learning was not there, how to handle our adolescent or young adults. Now the question is, repeat, madam. Sorry, I diverted. Question
Yes.
is?
The question is, what is the psychology of graduate level students and how to understand it?
Yes, graduate level students, whether it's medicine or law or business or commerce or arts or science, they're all young adults. They have just crossed this adolescence age, and that is a critical stage in their life, and they have got jumped into the sea of new experiences, and they have full freedom now, no kind of restrictions, and except academically they should be disciplined in order to complete their graduation. This set of mind, the set of like the mindset of such groups, they are venturesome and they are experimental in nature. And we know that a graduate has passed SSLC with 50% or 60%, then the 40% of knowledge is gone. He has not acquired it. Then he comes to PUC just with again 60%. He gets into a professional or technical course. And there also another 40-50% is lost. They are not fully knowledgeable that way. And then they come to 3 years or 4 years of degree, and there also year by year they have not performed or acquired 100% academics. But their conflicts are different. They are young and energetic, enthusiastic individuals where they want to explore the world. And in this exploration, being a person in the field of psychology, counseling, and mental health and family therapy, I have been subjected to a lot of queries by parents. why did my son get into this kind of habituated to these habits? In short, maybe alcohol, maybe smoking, maybe drugs. That's a order of the day now. But I have been meeting 40, 50 people every day where they are subjected to, and once they are into a service center where they are ready to get reformed, I feel that they can be subjected to a correctional behavior, and they are highly intellectuals also join us, and they can come out of the valley into which they have fallen. It's tough, but they can, and we have a lot of transformed individuals whom we take as role models, and they are the ones who are ready to counsel others to come out of it. And in college situation, teachers are the best mentors or the motivators. I think all colleges have a psychological counselors also. Maybe academic difficulties, maybe other family difficulties, financial problems. These can be discussed with the family members and they can come out of it, or there are so many funding agencies who can help them out in an institutional setup. But if they are into some kind of habit, which we can call a non-approved, socially not approved habits, then they have to make efforts. Family has to get in touch with them and see that they transform themselves. We know that habits die hard, be it good or bad. But bad habits can be nullified also. That is my experience. That's one thing, one part of the game. The other one is in this pandemic situation. What happened was it just became sudden change in their life, and parents used to make them avoid these gadgets. Now government is ready to give free mobiles to school children also, because of the change in the academic situation. The learning methodology is undergoing a lot of change, and so what are we doing? We have to answer ourselves. So the graduate group, which is young adult, very young adult, especially in a conventional college. But if you come to our IGNOU, even 70 years, 80 years are taking up their graduation now. So any particular area which troubles them in your experience, sir? Shukla sir? Any particular area which is troublesome? Am I audible?
Yes,
Am I audible?
Yes,
okay.
You're audible.
Because I think I have a presentation to make in BAS college regarding this only. How to handle this graduate students in campus and out of campus.
Okay.
So maybe I'll invite them, right? You can invite them to that seminar. And today was a very, yesterday night, midnight, my sister called me and she said that she has burnt her body with hot milk or so. So I had to rush to Mysore, but I didn't know how to manage myself. And I'm just was a little troubled in mind, because emotional involvement there. I have to come out of it and be prepared for this session. Right.
Oh,
yes,
madam. Sorry, we didn't know about it, and madam did. No,
I expect you to cancel this for this day, but I know it's so much of coordination, so much of communication you have done. So I thought that I will go ahead. Now I will go, right. I will do my webinar for IGNOU at Mysore later. Right.
Madam, we are very happy that you attended in this critical situation, and you shared a lot of information that we just extended this webinar timings. It was like fixed for 1 hour, and it was almost like 20 minutes extended. I'm very grateful to you for coming down and not sharing your sorrow with us, but yet sharing the information with all of us, with all the participants here. And you just answered everybody's question so precisely. And I hope all the participants have got their answers for the questions they asked. Now I request our department senior faculty, my colleague, Professor Shripad Hampiholi sir, to present the vote of thanks.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam. It was a wonderful session. I thank wholeheartedly the KLE Society for providing an opportunity. I thank speaker of today's session, Dr. Purnima Devi SK, for enthralling the audience with her talk. I thank all coordinators, and also I'm thankful to Professor Kishan R. Patil, Coordinator, Department of BBA, for successfully organizing the webinar. I thank participants, lecturers, professors, assistant professors, and all the principals. The response we got for this webinar was overwhelming. It is your active participation which motivates us to conduct more webinars. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank all the participants for making this webinar a success. The feedback link of this webinar will be provided in the respective groups in some time. By this, we conclude the session. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
Participants, do not leave the WhatsApp group. The feedback link will be shared in WhatsApp group only. And Purnima Devi madam, we are very pleased and happy to have you here for today's session. It was very informative. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing a lot of knowledge that you have with all of us. And I also thank all the dear participants. And I thank our management, our coordinator, Professor Kishan R. Patil sir, and our principal, Professor Vijay Kumar AS, for giving us an opportunity to conduct this in collaboration with Purnima Devi madam. Thank you so much. I'll be ending the meeting now, and the feedback link will be posted. Thank you, madam. Thank you to all the dear participants.